what? Who wants to play tag with a ghost? Do you want to play tag with a ghost? Why would you ever want to open yourself up to play with a ghost? What's up, Rat Fam? Some true scary stories that I'm really into right now are ones told by people that work the graveyard shift, because I mean the name alone is creepy. It just sparks like a fear in my heart. Something about the idea of working all alone in a big building with most of the lights off, having to guard things yourself, it opens itself up to a creepy good time. And by creepy good time, I mean a creepy not good time, but a good time for us because we get to hear their creepy stories in the safety of our own homes. So today I want to go back and explore another Ask Reddit thread where people share their terrifying, most creepy, memorable moments working the night shift. So let's just jump right into the terrifyingness and the nightmare fuel. How fun. My mom was a CNA and became a nurse and worked at the same nursing home for a really long time. She worked nights back in the late 90s and became best friends with one of the night nurses there. Well, one night on the Alzheimer's wing, a resident is completely flipping out running down the hallway. You really don't want to have your 70-year-old fall risk patient running as fast as they can down the hall, so my mom's friend tries to calm down the patient. The patient is freaked out about something behind her. A man is there. My mom's friend looks towards where the patient was running from, and it's sort of a corner, and a man in a clown's outfit leans out of view and waves to my mom's friend and the resident. That was one long, creepy sentence that had a lot of details. That felt like the story crammed into a single sentence. My brain kind of doesn't know how to react to what I just read. Someone being in a costume where they shouldn't be is going to be quite unnerving, regardless if you have a fear of clowns, I would think. My mom's friend freaks out for a moment and then goes up to make sure it wasn't just somebody playing a prank. But when she gets there, she doesn't see anyone. Oh, okay, that's creepy. The Alzheimer's wing is a lockdown unit, meaning you can't get in or out without the code. Obviously, this is for safety measures so people don't wander off and then get hurt. They do a search and the clown wasn't found. Okay, that's gonna make goosebumps. Where did it go? Crazy stuff happens there all the time. One time for about a week, some of the old ladies and men were talking about a baby and that the baby kept on crying. Okay, yeah, that's unnerving. A kid laughing and a kid crying. Two sounds that, you know, if you hear it and you don't have a kid in your nearby vicinity to, you know, rationally explain those noises, those are like telltale something creepy's happening, we should probably leave this area sounds, you know? No. And apparently this baby kept crying so much and it was heard by so many different residents in that facility that they started getting irritated by it and complaining about it. Complaining about a ghost child in a nursing home. Oh, that'd be an interesting report to have to write up, right? The residents would be talking to the baby from time to time and hold it and such. What? Okay. There was no baby, so the nurses and management chalked it up to being a movie or something they saw, and it triggered some of the ladies to go back to being a mother or something like that. I mean, it is an Alzheimer's wing. That does make sense. Oh, but this is a scary story, guys. Well, one of the patients was looking for a towel because she had to give the baby a bath. That sent a shiver down my spine for some reason. So instead of trying to reorient them back to reality and say there isn't a baby and cause some emotional distress, that can cause obviously a negative response. So they decided they're not going to go that route and they're going to give the towel to the person to go wash the baby. So the CNA takes the towel to the patient's room and they saw wet baby footprints on the resident's blanket. Oh. The CNA quickly left the room and quit a few days later. That is literally giving me goosebumps in this 90-degree room. How many times am I going to say that? That's the marksmanship of this is a creepy story, in my opinion. You know, when I was just saying a moment ago, the rational explanation, yeah, that would kind of go out the door if you saw wet baby footprints on the blanket. Because, I mean, if there was a doll, that would explain it because maybe they walked the doll on the blanket to leave those footprints. But I mean, I imagine they would say if there was a doll, and since there's no mention of a doll, I'm gonna say that there was no doll, so what the heck left those footprints? While in college, I worked security at a dying/dead mall, which, I mean, that's probably pretty common now, right, with malls kind of going away. I loved exploring the vacant stores where power was cut off to them. You'd think I'd have some stories from them, or maybe even the vacant theater we had on the property. Scarier because all the chairs things could be hiding. But we were pretty good at what we did there, so stuff stayed locked up. However, being a young and dumb college student, I screwed up and was moved to a different location. This one was most currently haunted. Nothing evil though. Okay, that's an interesting sentence to have to write, right? I noticed something off about one of the areas on our patrol route, especially after the nighttime cleaning crew had departed. There were always sounds of footsteps or someone moving about between the cubicles. What? I would not last there more than a day. The second week I was there, I noticed a light in an office flick on and off. You could try to explain that as maybe like faulty wiring. Maybe the bulb's going bad. But you know, if something was already creeping me out about this place and that were to happen, that would be like the nail in the coffin. I'm out. I checked it out, but the office was empty. Then I felt a hand push me lightly from behind. I checked with the other guard. No one had entered or left the building in over 3 hours, so we were all alone. Well, unless the other security guard pushed you, how would you explain that? On my next shift, I asked the cleaner for that area if she'd ever noticed anything weird. She asked, "Why? What have you seen?" I told her what I'd been experiencing and saw it, and she laughed. "Yeah, there's a ghost. And it's a kid." What? She went on to explain before the offices and testing facilities had been built, the land was a farm. Back in the 1960s, a 9 or 10-year-old boy was killed in an accident in that barn, right where these offices were then built. She explained he wants to play, so if you're busy, tell him and he'll leave you alone. Otherwise, if he pushes you, turn around and say, "Tag, you're it." He'll run directly away from wherever you are standing. What? Who wants to play tag with the ghost? Do you want to play with tag with the ghost? I mean, again, unless you're a paranormal investigator trying to make content, why would you ever want to open yourself up to play with a ghost? I mean, I guess you're right, not evil, so that's great. Also, very sad backstory. You know, so why you feel bad for the ghost kid? I'd rather just collect my paycheck and not play with a ghost. It took me 2 nights to work up the guts, only 2, to try playing tag. But for those 2 nights, I would announce, "I'm busy and can't play." The 3rd night, I walked in and slowed down. As I slowly walked along the windows, I heard footsteps from behind me. I then slowed further. When I felt the hand touch me, I turned around and yelled, "Tag, you're it!" A breeze ruffled the papers on all of the cubicle walls, leading directly away from me. For the next 3 months while I worked there, I'd occasionally play tag with this ghost kid because I felt bad for him. While definitely scary, from an outsider perspective, playing tag with a ghost, very chilling idea to think about. No thank you. I'll pass. It's stories like this though that make me just feel bad about the ghost, and then I feel bad for all the people and then myself for being scared of the ghost, because like, oh my gosh, what a horrible existence to have. But you know, that's why I like to keep my ghost stories at just chilling and not pulling at the heartstrings. So let's move on to the next one, and hopefully it does not have a ghost child in it. I was driving one night with some customers. I get about a block away from our destination. For reference, this is not the greatest part of the city, and although it's a somewhat busy street I'm driving on, it's not very well lit. So anyway, I'm driving these customers. I look over to my right as I pass this particular turnoff. It's one of those ones that has a triangle-shaped concrete island type thing that separates the lanes right as it meets the intersection. Standing on that island is this 12 to 13 foot tall cloaked figure. Okay, yep, I was not expecting that. I slowed down as my jaw hit the floor because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Yeah, I wouldn't believe that either. I was thinking I was too tired to drive. As I drove by it, its arm, for lack of a better term, raised its hand up and pointed in a seemingly random direction. What do you mean seemingly random? Wouldn't that have just been like a direction? This is like up in the sky, then you're like, what? But then I would instinctively look up to make sure like a comet or like a plane wasn't heading towards me, you know? And that was death warning me that maybe it wasn't my time to die yet. Now, I am the morbidly curious idiot from all of the horror movies. Well, at least he's self-aware. While freaked out by stuff like this, I also want to get a closer look and understand what I'm looking at. Hey, that's me. I'm the idiot. However, I had these customers in that vehicle who didn't see it apparently because they were engrossed in their own conversations. And I wasn't about to stop the vehicle in this shady neighborhood because I was seeing apparitions. I quickly dropped the people off and went back to the same spot. Okay, I'm not that big of an idiot. To see if I could see it again, but I had no such luck, for whatever was there was now gone. I thought that maybe I had seen a homeless person wrapped up in a blanket. But then I realized that where it was standing, there was a one-way sign that the figure was equally as tall as, if not actually taller than. Unless it was Yao Ming in a top hat, dressed as the ghost of Christmas future, I'm pretty sure it was not a human I saw. What the heck in this situation would you think you just saw? Would you think that maybe, one too many graveyard shifts in a row and you were just so tired that your mind maybe made up something that you saw, or maybe tried to explain like a tree branch or something? No, because he went back. So like if they went back, they would have saw a tree branch. I like keep tabs on the area to see like if anything bad happened in the direction that thing pointed. Like once it was like foreshadowing some tragedy. But that does it for today's video, covering 3 spooky stories about the graveyard shift. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did like it and want to see more like it, please turn on my channel notifications, which is the bell icon down below. Click it to be notified whenever I post new videos during the week. And if you haven't yet seen it, up on the screen right now is my previous video where I talk about creepy things caught on doorbell security cameras, and it's very fitting to this video, I would think. Creepy stuff. I'd love to know what you think about some of them. And until next time, keep it the roundness, and I'll see you real soon. Bye! Once again, I'm very grateful that I don't work graveyard shift because these stories terrify me.